Your life experience, good or bad, is a gift when you share it with others. At Taxi Chronicles, we allow real riders with real stories to share their gift. So hopefully this episode will intrigue, enhance or inspire you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Morning. Yes, we're back with another rider and another story. Today we are honoured to have a lady all the way from Ethiopia, but she's been living in London for 25 years. And she's set up a charity in Ethiopia regarding epilepsy, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And she's going to explain to us why and how she got into it and what motivates us. So, you know, it's another thing we can learn. So listen and enjoy. Nice to have you here, Annette. Is that so right?
Yes, nice to meet you too. Well, my name, as you said, is Annette, and I've been living in England, London, 25 years. I came to this country when I was actually 17 because I was diagnosed with epilepsy. And at that time in Ethiopia, there was no treatment whatsoever for epilepsy, and the chances, if you can afford it, go abroad. So throughout my life, I've lived with epilepsy, and I still do, and I take medication. But I have been very blessed and lucky to live in England, where the treatment is available, where epilepsy is one of a medical condition where we know there is treatment for it. And I've got absolutely a wonderful doctor who has been looking after me for over 20 years. So, you know, life with all its challenges, living with epilepsy, it's been good. I've done my studies. I've done my degree in business management and master's in public health. And I used to work for the Royal Free Hospital. But the last 6 years of my life, I kind of felt a calling to go back to Ethiopia and start a charity working for people with epilepsy. The reason being, in most of African countries, epilepsy is looked at some kind of spiritual condition. So you're cursed, some kind of evil spirit has entered your mind, your brain. So that's why you fall down and you shake. So the awareness is not there. And sadly, the awareness is not there, not only within the less educated community, but even those educated, mostly that's how they think and feel about epilepsy. And then when we take it further to the government or the Ministry of Health, infectious diseases take precedence from any other diseases, and most of the money comes from the WHO or UNICEF. It's already designed and dictated where the money should go. So really having a budget for epilepsy is almost unthinkable. But you know what? I believe nothing comes easy in life, and if you really want to achieve something and want to make a difference, you really have to struggle and work for it and try to raise awareness. And I know that a lot of people, everyone cannot support you, but even those, you know, who can cheer you on the road on the way there, that'll be great. So now this.
Sorry to interrupt there. Can you explain what actually causes epilepsy?
Yes, so epilepsy is a brain disorder, actually specifically a neuron disorder, and that can come as a result of various reasons. One, it could be trauma. So you may have fallen down and hit your head, and there is some hemorrhage inside your brain, and as a result of that, you get seizures. Or there might be some kind of growth in your brain, so like a tumor kind of thing, and that presses on the neuron, so you develop having seizures. And you could have scarring tissues for different reasons. And then in children, most of the cases, if they are autistic children, most of the time epilepsy comes as a comorbid, another mental or neurological challenge. So and then about 60% of the time the cause for epilepsy is not known. So it can come at any age, at any time in life, and just as it comes as any time, it can also go away at any time, or most of the time you can live with it until your last breath.
Okay. I heard things, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that there's smells and things that set it off. Is that right? Or is that something else I'm probably thinking?
Not smell, but there is a specific kind of seizure where, like for example, a TV light or a flickering light can induce seizure. So I don't know, I haven't heard about smell.
Okay. Maybe it's fits. Fits is different from
No, it's not. It's fits is like seizure. So fits means the actual falling down and shaking. That is a seizure of a fit.
Oh, of the outcome of the episode.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what intrigues me, you speak about back home that people believe it's spiritual, even if they're educated or they believe it's spiritual. Does anybody believe, or do you believe there's an element of spiritual as well as biological?
Not really, and yes. And yes is from perspective if we consider all sicknesses or evil things come from whether it's the devil or how whatever your belief is. If that's how we're looking at it, then it's not just epilepsy, but all conditions and diseases are from that evil spirit. But there isn't any reason why epilepsy is specifically related to evil spirit. I mean, honestly speaking, it's a historical background that started in Europe like hundreds of years ago. And it's just because the brain is unknown, and still it's a lot of part of the brain is still unknown, and it's just the fear of unknown is kind of says, well, must be something to do with spiritual, and that has filtered down to African and other countries as well.
Is there anybody you've known who's been cured of?
Yes, especially if it starts at a young age, when they're children. When they get to the age of like puberty and teenager, there is a chance, not all of them, but there's a chance that the change of hormone could stop the seizures.
Oh, so it's like a recalibration.
Yes, and also if your seizure is induced because of, like, for example, a tumor or something like that, and when they take that tumor out, then the seizure will stop.
Oh, so the tumor, just to be specific, what is exactly a tumor? I've heard the term many a time.
So that's some kind of growth, whether it's in your brain or any part of your body. So it's kind of a growth. So it could be it could be cancerous. It could be just benign.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Mm-hmm. So, what would you say you've learnt about this whole experience?
I think I've learned that awareness is important in every aspect of life. When you know what is in front of you, you know the cause of, whatever it is. When you're aware, you have the power to win your battle, So what we've done in Ethiopia now, when we go around and teach the community, we start from schools, and we have campaigns and walks and so forth, and patients come and they realize, oh my goodness, this is just a condition. So and they realize that if they take their medication, they can live a productive and successful life in most cases. And that is, in a way, the beauty of epilepsy, because as much as it can cause a problem, if you take medication and your seizures are controlled, you can live a productive life.
But then, how often do you have to take the medicine, and is it expensive?
Well, for Ethiopia, yes, in most cases it is expensive because it's imported. But in England, it's it's free, so we don't pay for it. But the newer brand are more expensive. But medication it depends. It's as prescribed by the doctor, but mostly it's twice a day, morning and evening.
It's epilepsy. Obviously, you set up your charity, which is great. It's how common is epilepsy in a population? Is it like 1%, 0.5?
Mm-hmm. So
0.5?
the WHO assumes that 1%, a minimum of 1% in a population have epilepsy, but the fact is it's more than that. And in England, if I'm not mistaken, it's 3%, I think, of the population.
Okay. So that's why the government gives it out free.
Yeah.
I
I think, if I'm not mistaken.
that's quite a bit. So what's your charity called, and where can people find you?
So the charity is called Care Epilepsy, and our website is www.careepilepsy as one word, Ethiopia as one word, careepilepsyaethiopia.org. And we have a Facebook, the same, the Facebook is Care Epilepsy only, and it's EE. So please visit us and support us, and yes, any ideas? It's not only the support we ask is not just money, but some people can be creative and they can do things. They can show us to do things in a better way, effective way. So everyone is welcome.
Do you have opportunities for people like students mainly who can go out there and work, who can help people?
Yes, we have a volunteering operation, and we have already students coming from abroad to do a 1-month program that is credited to their college work as well, experience. So it will be brilliant country for a holiday as well. So if they come
with the NHS?
No.
Okay, so you said it works towards a credit.
Yeah, that is not for NHS stuff, but if you're studying at a university, for example, like social work and so forth, and you're asked to do community work, you can do it in colleges where international community work is accepted. You can do it as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What's the impact you want to have in the world?
People with epilepsy living free from discrimination, having opportunity to live a productive life, a life that they want to live, being accepted like anybody else.
But from my understanding, people with epilepsy can't work heavy machinery and things like that.
Yes, and that is just to protect yourself, because in most cases you don't know when your seizures come. So, for example, if you are in the middle of, cutting something, big machineries, and you have a seizure, you really can hurt yourself. So it's just being cautious. But there are so many other work that you can do. So, yeah.
I read in a book one time, it's called The History of Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And they went back to the time of like Mesopotamians, Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
and even Neolithic, and they said what they found is that most people address the mental side of a sickness first, and then as I read more, it said 70% of sickness is always mental.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors, ideally, if you understand where somebody's coming from, what may have changed in their life, then that's the first point of addressing their health.
Mm-hmm.
I had a young cousin, and when she was in her teens, she started to get epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
And now she doesn't have it, from my understanding. She hasn't had a seizure or fit in many, many years. She's a grown woman with a child. But it was very intriguing. And that's why I asked you about the spiritual side, because I think, me personally, maybe I'm one of those people who fall in that category.
Okay.
To me, there is a what's changed in your life. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
And pressures, things like that. But I'm sure you're the expert.
Yeah, I mean, as anything else, I think the spiritual side of life, it contributes to how you deal with your situation. And if you're positive about it, it gives you more energy to live a better life than having, some kind of, if you're going through mental depression or something like that. So I think it has an impact in that way, but epilepsy is actually a physical condition. So, yeah.
And I just thought I'd throw that out there just to see your point, and so people who are listening can understand how it really is.
Yeah, okay.
And a bit like a devil's advocate question. But thanks a lot for the interview. It's
Thank
much
you.
appreciated.
Thank you very much.
And we wish you well.
Thank you.
We hope you liked that Taxi Chronicles interview. Don't forget to share and subscribe to get the latest episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economies and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. Listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. British Standard Time.